Hello! Long time no see. What's it been? It's been like, what, nearly 6 years? Bloody hell, nearly 6 years. Jesus. Well, first of all, Happy New Year. 2018, eh? Kind of amazing, isn't it? 2018 and the world hasn't ended. Hang on, it's 2018. Where are my flying cars? No flying cars, no hoverboards, no self-tying Nikes in the wider market. I mean, you can buy them, but they only release like 1,000 a year and they're super expensive. We're a year away from Blade Runner and we still have no sign of replicants. But anyways, 6 years. What's happened? What's been happening in the last 6 years? Let's see. I got married. I had a kid. I worked on a couple of films, but more on that in a minute. We ended up homeless because I lost my job and couldn't get any paid work as a writer. We ended up living with my in-laws for 2 years, and then I found a fantastic job. And I've spent the last couple of years just kind of rebuilding. I can fix it! I wear glasses now, 24/7. Well, not 24/7 because, obviously I can't sleep with them on. I've learned to embrace my baldness. I maintain my beard now, I don't just let it go all bushy. And yeah, I've kind of got a little bit more focus on what I want to do with my life. More on that in a minute. So the last anyone heard from me, we were expecting a baby and then my wife ended up in hospital. And we were doing that whole countdown to fatherhood thing, and I know I never finished it, but that's mostly because, as I said, my wife ended up in hospital with health issues during her pregnancy. Thankfully, mum and baby were fine, as you can tell. And then parenthood took over and I didn't have time to edit, and it was one of those things where I'll come back to it when I have time, and then before I knew it, it was the little guy's first birthday and I realized wow, I still haven't finished that video project. I mean, I have the videos and they're all sort of up there, but time went on and it just felt like there was, I don't know, I just didn't feel right anymore, so I just put it on hold. And then for a while I wanted to come back to YouTube, but I didn't know what I wanted to do with the channel anymore. I just took a break and just got on with other projects. So what can I tell you? First of all, the last time I did a kind of talking to the camera, you and me sort of thing, I did those kind of 3 bits of good news. I was getting married, that went well. I was having a kid, that went well. And then I got my dream job, and that didn't go so well. Look, it was a great learning experience, and at the time it was my dream job. And then I realized during the process that I enjoy writing, I don't enjoy working on films. Working on film, it can either go really, really well or really, really bad. Unfortunately, the projects I worked on went really, really bad. So, come with me down memory lane as I discuss the worst working experience I've ever had. And I've worked in retail. So I got this writing job. I pitched a sci-fi script. They really liked my script, but they didn't want to make my scripts. They wanted to make a kind of torture porn, Saw, Hostel type horror movie. They'd already written a synopsis. They wanted someone to write the script, clean it up and everything like that. And so I was on board. The script itself had a very heavy sort of BDSM tilt to it, but it was clearly written by people who had no experience within the BDSM community. So I had to write it, rewrite it, rework it, kind of write it so it handled its subject with a little bit more respect. And I did what I could with it. They didn't really get the culture and things like that, and I had to really fight for, just the kind of more intricacies of how that community works. I've been with people in my youth who were part of that community, so I had at least a glancing knowledge of how it worked, and I could tell that they had no idea. So anyways, I worked it, I wrote it, and the director, or the guy who wanted to direct it was his first directing job, but he didn't really understand how directing worked. He thought directing a film was very much like directing a company, in that he seemed to be under the impression that a film director is barely on set. It was more like a managing director position. He's up in the ivory tower, just kind of signing off on things. So I ended up directing the thing, and I don't know the first thing about directing a film with, I've done short films and things like that with my mates, and that's a different thing. But when you've got crew and cast and catering and other things beginning with C, you suddenly are out of your depth. So anyways, we shot the film, God knows how. We got the film shot, and then it never got finished being made because the producer, director, was arrested and convicted for fraud because of some sort of imaginative accounting they did on the previous film they did. and ironically the movie was called Landscape of Lies. If you want to know the full story about Landscape of Lies, the BBC actually did a documentary about the whole thing, which if I can find a link for it, I'll leave it down below and you can go check it out yourself. I actually took part in the documentary. I was interviewed by the BBC to talk about my experience working with Bashar, but I have never actually seen the documentary. I've watched the first 15 minutes and then I couldn't watch any more, because essentially, imagine you worked with someone with the absolute best faith in them, and then it turned out that the whole time they had been deceiving you and essentially taking you for a ride, and then someone made a film about how they lied to you and took you for a ride and explained to you in intricate detail about how you were lied to and taken for a ride. So I couldn't watch it. Everybody else I know who worked on that film has watched it and really enjoyed it. So yeah. So out of the ashes of my failed film career, I've been working on other things, and now I've finally figured out what I want to do with my life. And that's partly why I've come back to this channel, because I want to use this channel as a way of sort of keeping track of the things I want to do. Over the course of the last 4 years, my wife and I figured out that we actually work really well together, not just as a couple, but as creators as well, which is quite interesting because my wife has never really been a creative. She's always been sort of more of a pragmatic thinker. She's run her own businesses in the past, but she's never really had a creative inclination. At least that's what she's always sort of consciously told herself. As the years have gone by, we've gotten sort of a little bit more deeper into what makes her tick. You know, she's always wanted to be a creative, but she never really felt like she could be. It's almost like a part of her was waiting for permission to be a creative, because she comes from a family of, you know, lawyers and doctors and academics. So she never really felt like she could be a creative, which is why she went into law and why she works in genealogy now. Funnily enough, she's on TV now as well. Well, at least the company she works for is on TV, on BBC, on a BBC program called Air Hunters. And what they do is they track down like estates and family trees and lost relatives and stuff like that. And she really loves her job, but she's always had like this itch that she's never been able to scratch. And it turns out it's because she's always wanted to do something creative. She just didn't know what. And together we've kind of figured out what we want to do. As time goes on, we will start talking more and more about what we're planning on doing, but part of it involves launching a second channel in April. So watch this space. As we get closer and closer to our goal, I will be able to tell you more about what it is that we're launching, and we're super excited about it. We've been working on it for about 6 months now, so by the time we launch, it will be almost a year's worth of work coming together. On top of that, we've got a couple of other projects that we want to work on, but the one we are launching in April, which is a video project, that's the one that we want to get going in order to be able to focus on other projects. They're very personal projects, so we're quite excited and a little bit nervous about what we're about to launch, but if all goes well, it's going to be something quite fun, and I hope you guys will join us for the ride. I've always wanted to get back into art, and so I don't know if you've noticed every now and then something might pop up on your timeline from my channel, and it's usually like a time lapse of some art stuff. So I've been doing the art sing over on Twitch Creative. I'll leave a link down below for the channel. We stream on every Monday, every Wednesday, and every Sunday. Monday stream is what we call couples counseling. It's basically us just kind of antagonizing each other and taking the piss out of each other while gaming. Deepa sometimes is my backseat gamer. She's very good at spotting the things, you know. She's like, oh, check out that box over there, or go over there, and which is very helpful and very frustrating, because if you can imagine, you know, you're running around the Commonwealth and you've got a bunch of feral ghouls after you, you're low on ammo and your health is low, and she's like, check out the chest, and it's like, no, woman, I've got fucking radioactive zombies after me. So, you know, it's fun and frustrating and we love it. But Wednesday we do our art stream where we will be working on the project, so you'll start to get sort of a preview of what our upcoming project is. And then Sunday we have our mega stream, which it will still be the project, but it will also be other projects as well. So, you know, all of that will be on our stream. I'm still kind of not sure about doing live streams on YouTube yet, mostly because I don't know. It's like, you know, it's like that pair of shoes or that top that you wear when you're kind of hanging out with your friends and you don't really feel like it's work appropriate.
That was before other people started saying it. I was an originator.
So I'm still not wearing those shoes and that top to work yet. Maybe I'll start doing dual streams on Twitch and YouTube. That might be interesting, but we'll see how it goes. For now, we're doing live streams on Twitch and we're doing regular updates on YouTube. So yeah, it feels good to be back on YouTube. It's been a while. I just needed to kind of gather myself and figure out what I wanted to do, and now that I feel like I have, it's going to be a lot of fun on the internets. So today is Monday. It is Monday, isn't it? I don't know, man. New Year's Day is always such a weird thing. I always know it's New Year's Day, but I never know what day of the week it is on New Year's Day. So let me just check that. Yes, it is Monday, which means we will be doing couples counseling later on, which is usually around 8:30 Greenwich Mean Time, because that's after our little guy's gone to bed. And then, yeah, and then after that, hopefully you can join us on our art stream on Wednesday. So until then, take care. Speak to you soon. Goodbye. Hey, thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to check us out on Twitch and Twitter, links down below. And if you want to keep up to date with how our projects are developing and what we've been up to, then slap my big bald head to subscribe. Speak to you soon, guys. Bye.